Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Irish Gauge. Now, Irish Gauge is a game that's in a part of a set of games that are really similar. So Ride the Rails and Iberian Gauge, I believe, is the third one. I'm not sure if they're continuing on with more of them, but Ride the Rails will be coming very soon. I just need to get that played and filmed. I may even put this gameplay in my back pocket and release both of those back to back so you can get a feel for both games and see how close and similar they are to each other. Irish Rails, in fact, I think that all the games in the series play from 3 to 5. 3 is the minimum player count on this. Why? Because this is an auction game, and auction games don't work so good with only 2 players. And that's the essence of this game. It is an auction rail game. So you have 5 companies and you're auctioning shares or purchasing shares in each of those companies, and then whoever owns shares in the companies can move the rail line forward and get to different towns. And whenever a dividend is paid out, whoever owns the shares in that company will get a portion of those dividends. So you could own 100% of a company or be the only person at the table who owns shares in the company. You will get 100% of that dividend when it gets paid out. And so play throughout the game is trying to add value to shares that you own or to the companies that you own the shares of, bearing in mind that other players around the table may have shares in the same company. And so you're making that decision as to, is there more value in me just adding to this company that I'm the only one who owns, or is there value in driving forward on this other one? Now, within all of that, whenever dividends are paid out, you're taking 3 cubes out of a bag. And whatever those 3 colours are, they may be the same colours as each other, may not be. There are only 3 colours total in the bag. But whichever towns your railway travels through that have those colours, they're the ones that are being paid out. So if you have a rail line that travels through a lot of pink towns and no pink gets pulled out, then you're probably not going to make a whole bunch on that rail. And you're sitting waiting around for pink to get pulled out. And that may not necessarily be the right move. You probably want to get a even distribution across your rail line so that whatever the cubes that come out are, you're still getting some money, even if you're not getting a whole bunch of money. Because you know what? Pink may only come out a couple of times. And that might be an issue because you don't get as big a dividend payout. And that's really the game. I feel like it is similar to an 18xx game. Not that I'm an 18xx player. I've never played an 18xx game. Just from my understanding of conversation, this feels like it's probably a lighter version of an 18xx. This feels very similar, or at least within the mechanism of the buying shares within a company and then trying to get the company to make as much as possible so you can get as much as possible off each of the shares, but other players may have those shares as well. That feels really similar to City of the Big Shoulders, which is one of my favorite games. So I actually quite like this whole mechanism of manipulation of stock prices and things like that. I think that's a really good thing. I quite value that in gameplay in the way of play. Auctioning, however, may not necessarily be my favorite mechanism, but it works. And this is just an auction game. If you understand auctioning, it goes around the table and at some point you're going to have to step out or you'll be left as the only one who owns it. What I've noticed, however, with this game is at the end of the game, you're gaining the value of that share. So if it was a $4 share before the auction started, so the first person who puts a bid in has to put in a bid of 4, or at least 4, should I say. If that is yours at the end of the game, it doesn't matter if you've spent 10 money to get that £4 share, it's worth £4 at the end of the game. And this changes how you come at bidding, especially in the later game. The adding up of, is there more value in me owning that to get income? So how much income can I get by owning this one extra share of this company? is there value in me spending the extra money to get that? Because it may not be. And that little bit of math at the end is, it needs to be a really quick in your head kind of thing, but it's a worthwhile thing to add up and to weigh up is there value in actually getting those last couple of shares? Obviously, if you are the sole share owner of a company and the last share of that company goes out, it may be worth grabbing it just so you can maintain that sole ownership. So you're getting the overall benefit. However, being the sole owner of a rail line doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. It does mean that you're the only one working on pushing forward where that rail line goes, and there's no one else working on that for you or with you. So there's very much oh, should I do this or should I not do this? How much money does everyone else have? The rules don't say if the amount of money you have is secret or is open. I couldn't find that anywhere in there. Please, someone right below if you know the answer to that question, because knowing how much each person has can vastly change when you put things up for auction. So if you're the only one with £10, for example, and everyone else has less than that, there's no reason not to put whatever you want up for auction, knowing that you have the ability to win it no matter what. You may have to spend the £10 to win it, but you have the ability to win it. Whoever has the most money has the ability to win, no matter what, if that's what they want to do, if there's value in doing that. I got halfway through a game of it and I felt like I had lost the game because I wasn't seeing the income coming in from the rail lines I had out. And if I don't have the income coming in, I don't have a vast amount of money to be able to spend on future auctions to get more shares in companies or in different companies. And so the people who were doing well continue to do better and well. And it's just something to bear in mind. Now, having said that, the person who seemed to be or appeared to be doing the best in the auctions didn't actually end up winning the game. One of the other people did. It felt like from about the third turn or auction in, it felt like this person was going to win. And they only missed it by like $1 or $2, but it felt like someone else was winning from very early on in the game. And that can be a little bit deceptive. It can be very obvious if you're losing from early on in the game because you don't have enough money to be able to put into the auctions to get the good stuff from the companies that's going to give you more money in the future. So there's that, but knowing who the winner is from early on isn't necessarily correct. And I think that understanding that and kind of feeding into that and stepping into that, not stepping into the negativity, is probably the right way to go with this game. Is going, okay, how can I just play my best? What can I do that's going to get me the best? But being very aware of what else is around the board with, is there value in me doing this? There's quite an immense payout if you can get 3 of the cities joined together. So if you're the sole owner of the share, so right early in the game, if you can get those 3 joined together really early while you're still the sole owner, you're getting a £12 bump in the amount of money that you have simply by doing that. If you can see that one of the companies is getting close to doing that, it might be worth getting a share in it so you get a bit of a kickback from that particular thing. There's so many different little extra elements to add in that there's a lot of thinking going on with the game. Look, I think that is probably enough about Irish Gauge for the moment. Please go ahead and watch my Gamesplay and Gamesplanation to get a feel for the game. The rulebook on this one, by the way, is just a single sheet of paper, so it's actually quite quick to read through the rules if you wish to do that. I was fearing a thick rulebook, but it wasn't that at all. So I'll leave it there. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplained, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.